right, here we go. So got Cast and Shoot Outdoors. I think he's on the line. First time bringing him in. Let's add him. Let me see. August, are you there? August, are you there? You muted yourself. Go ahead, unmute yourself. Can't get on? August, can you hear me? You muted yourself. Go ahead and take yourself off mute. Can you hear me? Can you hear me? It's not working. Thought I had it. I think the connection's good enough. So,
Hello?
August, there we go. What's up, my man? I can hear you now.
All right, good.
Cool, man. Well, welcome. Appreciate you coming on.
Yep.
So, looks like you want to talk about some things.
Yeah.
All right, man. Well, I'll let you have the floor, man. Go ahead.
So, what do you think is like wrong with hunting?
Well, I think I go back to putting yourself in the other position. So putting yourself in the
Yeah.
position and saying, well, would you want to get shot? And I think the answer is no, because you care about your life, you care about your experience, and what did that animal do to you?
Yeah. Yeah. I see what you're saying, but like animals like in the wild, they're hunted and stuff. They know they're going to die. They don't really like die much of old age. Mostly they're killed by a coyote cuz once they get older, they're slow. They can't run away.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, but let me go back to like the reason. What's the reason that you're hunting? Why
Well,
hunt if you're not
food.
doing it for survival?
Food is one. There's food, it's experience, and it's fun too.
All right, well let's go back to it for food. So I totally understand, but it's not necessary, right? You can go to the store and get plants or get you can buy your own food, right? You're not doing it for
Yeah,
survival. So,
and I
uh,
I eat meat from grocery stores too when I run out of hunted meat, but
okay, I mean
I
that,
prefer
that
hunted meat.
do you know where that meat comes from? Do you know how the
I
animal
do.
gets there?
Yeah.
What do you
Yeah.
think about that?
I prefer the way it comes from hunting. It's more
Okay.
ethical.
All right, so you say more ethical. What does that mean?
Animal is treated better. Like it's out in the wild. It's killed more ethically.
All right, so you think killed more ethically. At the end of the day, the animal's still being killed, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
All right, so the end result is the same. So I mean, from the animal's perspective, you're still taking that animal's life.
Yeah. They're they're gonna die. Like when hunters, we take old mature animals. We don't just kill like baby deer and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But we kill animals that are older, more mature, that have already lived longer lives.
Right. Okay. I mean, looking at it, I'd say it's better that way, right? I'm glad you're leaning more towards okay, hunting. The animal's free; it's in the wild. Whereas, going to slaughterhouses, they're bred, and they're sent to these big farms, and then they're packed in tight, and then they're sent to slaughterhouses, right? And so what those animals go through is certainly worse, right? Would you agree? You'd agree with that?
Hello?
Yeah. Can you hear me? Can you hear me? Darn, man, I had him on. Let's get him back here. It was a good little conversation. I think here he is. Hey, did I?
Sorry.
Yeah, did I lose you? I had you.
Yeah,
All
I
right.
don't know what happened there.
All right.
I just had to reconnect or something.
Yeah, it could be my connection too. I'm on my. I'm trying to hotspot.
Oh,
All right. So I mean, back to they're gonna die, right? You said that hunting.
yeah,
The animals they're gonna die anyway. But again, you're not doing it because it's necessary for you, right? So it's not for like survival.
yeah, but
Okay. So that doesn't justify it, right? To me, that's not a good justification because you can go to the store and buy plants. You don't need to contribute to killing an animal if you don't have to.
yeah, I see what you're saying.
All right. So it's not
Population control is another thing too.
all right. So, but you agree that I mean the food isn't really a good justification.
Well, there's multiple things.
All right, but I mean food isn't it's not necessary for you to eat animals. Would you agree to that?
I don't think it's necessary, but I
All
think
right.
it.
Yeah, I mean that's fair. Okay. So it's not necessary. So what would be another reason for you, for it to be okay to kill an animal and eat it?
Well, I think it's good for your health. You get it's easier to get protein from meats.
Okay, so it's easier. So you're saying that because it's easier, that gives us a reason that we should go out and kill animals and eat them? You muted yourself there.
Work?
Wait, go ahead. I missed that what you said there.
Sorry. Um, I've never had like fake meat or anything, but I don't know how much protein's in that. But
Well, so what? Why we? I don't think we should be worried about protein because all plants have protein. So
well, meat is like you don't have to eat as much of it to get the amount of protein. So you can.
all right, so back to the justification. So because I mean, you agree that you can get enough protein from plants, which I can attest to that. You can do the research. You can get enough protein from plants. It might be you might need to eat more plants. I mean, you got chickpeas, you got lentils, you got beans, you got all sorts of plant proteins. Plus, you can supplement, right? There, you got one scoop of plant-based protein is 25 grams of protein. Two scoops gives you 50 grams. For you, for sure, mass per, your amount needed of protein could certainly be you can get it from plants. But because you can say that you can get more protein from killing an animal and eating it, that does that truly justify killing that animal? Does that make it ethical?
Yeah, I see what you're saying, but like again with animal health too, like if you don't like help keep animal population in control by hunting and stuff. Like they did I forget where I heard this. I read it somewhere, but um in Gettysburg, PA, they did a thing. They banned deer hunting, and the deer population went way up, and it was increased car wrecks, increased poop everywhere. Um, they just had to reopen hunting. They couldn't, like, there were too many car wrecks and stuff.
Okay, so again, I mean, to me, I'm not the expert, right? I mean, deer. I think you can certainly. There's other ways to keep them to keep deer in control. Uh, of ways to limit their population. There's catch and release. There's catch and you can maybe make them not be able to have babies anymore. But I think for the answer to be let's just go out and shoot and kill these animals, I think it goes back to why don't we protect these animals? Why don't we help these animals? Why don't we? I mean, we caused, we got onto their land. They were here before us. And so why not? Why can't we coexist with these animals and find ways to work or live in connection with them versus let me just shoot them, let me just cut off their head and mount it to my wall, and because it's fun or it's right. I mean, I don't think. And then you're also talking about that specific population in that area that might be, not a good spot, or it might be, where they did have issues or problems, but does that relate to everywhere? Is that justify killing and shooting deer everywhere? I lost him again. Come on, August. I think this conversation is going well. I mean, I'm surprised. This dude, he's smart. He's very well spoken. I'm impressed. I'm enjoying having conversation with him. So if he can get back on, August, come on back on. But now, I mean, going back to, he's doing this. There he is. It could be my connection, my man. Are you there?
Yeah, my parents needed help with something. I'm back.
Cool, man. Yeah, sorry, it could be my connection, or I'm saying, but hey, man, I just want to thank you for coming on, man, and having this conversation. Not a lot of people are doing what you're doing, so again, I appreciate it, man.
Yeah.
And by no means am I, I'm not trying to be rude or anything. I'm just asking real questions. I give you, I'm not even sure where you're from, and what you do, but I've seen some of your posts on, so you're into hunting, obviously, and fishing.
Yeah.
Okay, and how'd you get into that?
I grew up. My parents don't hunt.
They don't?
My grandpa actually got me into it.
Oh, okay.
And then my uncles kind of helped me with it.
It's interesting, but your parents don't hunt.
Mm-mm.
Okay, but they're obviously supportive of you hunting.
Yeah.
Right? Because I mean, your grandfather hunts. Or is your grandfather still hunt?
Yes, he does.
Okay, cool. So, have you actually been out hunting?
I have, yeah.
Okay, and how many years have you been hunting?
4 or 5.
Wow, okay, cool. Okay, that's a long time. Well, I mean, obviously, years. But have you actually shot and killed any animals?
I have, yes.
Wow.
I've killed a deer, a few squirrels, a rabbit, and a groundhog.
Man. So your kill count, what is that, 5 animals total?
Probably somewhere in there, yeah.
All right. Well,
probably over 10 because I got a bunch of squirrels.
Oh man. All right. So how did you feel when obviously the deer. I'm gonna go to the deer because you've killed one deer so far, right?
Yep.
So how did you feel? And tell me what that was like. Do you want to talk about that?
So yeah, um, when it's like you see a deer, you get this big wave of adrenaline, and you pull the trigger. It's just even more. You feel a little guilty, I guess, because but it's still like you get meat and you get cool skull mount. You get meat, skull mount, and then you get memories.
All right.
And you help control the population.
Okay. So you said that you feel a little guilty, or there's a little guilt involved. You felt guilty.
A little bit, not really though.
Well, why a little bit at all? What? Why do you think that you felt a little guilty, or what goes through your mind there?
Just like my first one was a younger one, so it was just that. But other than that, not really.
Okay, because it was young. What? Why? Because it was young. Did you feel a little guilty?
Could have gotten older, bigger, lived longer.
So I mean, like it was. How old do you think? How many years was it, or was it was it at least a year old, or how old do you think
it was? A year and a half.
A year and a half old.
Yeah.
Okay, and then how old do deers grow or get to be? Do you know? I don't know. Did I lose you again? I think I lost you or broke you. Broke up.
Hello?
Yeah, I can hear you now. Can you hear me? You there? You there? Can you hear me? Yeah, I could hear you though. I could hear you tapping. Oh, I keep losing him. I don't know if it's my connection or not. He's coming in good. I can hear him. There he is. Coming in again. There he is. Can you hear me?
I don't know what happened there. I don't know if you disconnected or if it was me.
I,
I
you
don't
know,
know.
yeah, I'm not sure, but I could hear you, and I could hear you. I guess you may not have been heard of me.
Yeah, you were frozen for me.
All right, it could be my connection, man. I'm trying to run off my hotspot. I'm waiting for my son to finish practice, and doing it from my laptop here, hooked to my
Cool.
phone. All right, but back where we broke up was the deer was 90. I'm sorry, a year and a half old,
Yep.
right? That you shot and killed. Um, and I would say that's younger deer. I was asking, how old do you think the deer lived to be without being shot or killed?
In the wild, they're lucky to get 4 or 5.
4 or 5 years.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, in the wild, 4 to 5 years. So, I mean, you took, this deer had another, call it 4 more years to live and experience and enjoy the outdoors.
Yeah.
Right. And so, back to, I think one of the reasons you said is for food, but you don't need to be doing that. Right, it's not necessary. I know that you say that you bring it home to your family and you can, feed your family with it, but it's not really necessary. So, to me, it's hard to justify you're doing it. It's not really necessary. Uh, so that reasons out. And then you also mentioned, a cool skull mount. What's that mean?
So it's called a Euro mount. It's where you take the skull, you take the head, and you take all the flesh off, and then you can get the skull and you can hang it on a wall or put it on a shelf as like a memory.
So, do you think that would you want somebody to do that to you?
Well, the deer and humans are pretty different, so it's kind of hard to compare that.
All right. Well, what makes it different? What makes them different?
Deer don't have the same like style of thinking as humans.
All right. Well, you do. They think though. You agree that they think and they experience their life.
They do think, it's just way different than humans.
Right.
They don't have language. They don't have any of that.
All right, but would you say that there's some humans that don't have language or say a different language, right? They speak in a different language, or you
Yep.
know, babies don't even have language, or they think way differently than we do. And again, you talk about this deer was only a year and a half old. Going to like, do you remember what you thought at a year and a half old or
I do
younger?
not.
Right, and so I think that we don't necessarily know exactly what's going through that deer's mind, but we know that that deer can experience pain, right?
Yeah.
That deer has emotions. You can kind of tell when a deer's maybe happy and playing with other deer.
I've seen deer do that. Yeah.
All right, so to
But
me, I'd give them
they
the
don't have the same emotions as humans, you know?
well, I'd say that me and you don't have the same emotions, and just like the emotions of a baby, or somebody who's mentally handicapped as a human, right? They may not express the same emotions as us. Does that give us the right to, shoot them and kill them?
Well, no. But
So, back to, just being able to justify killing the animal is certainly difficult for me to do.
yeah, well, like when you compare it to killing humans and stuff. Humans in the book of I forget which one. It's in the Bible somewhere. Humans are divine. That's why there's a commandment in the 10 Commandments about you shall not kill another human. But there's no law about killing animals.
All right, so a law. So, there's many laws. There's laws back in the day where we could actually enslave or own a human and have that human work for them, and you can chain them up, or they're basically property. We could do what we want with them. And that was the law. It was legal to do so in some states. Because it's legal, or because someone says that it's okay, does that make it justified to kill that animal?
Well, again, humans and animals are different.
Well, I think
kind of.
it's hard to. I don't know the characteristic of what makes it. Humans are animals, but you're referring to non-human animals. But what's the relevant moral difference between a human and an animal that gives us the right to justify, or to the right to kill them and eat them? You said they're different. I
Well,
would agree. I'd agree they're different, but what specifically, what characteristic that they have? And you mentioned they're not that smart, but then I say, all right, well, the logic goes to, all right, are humans? There's some humans that aren't that smart, or there's humans that are 37 years old, mentally handicapped, and they're like a 1-year-old mentally. right? There's some pigs that are smarter than humans. Does that make it right to kill and eat those humans that are that way?
Well, like I said about in the Bible with the um, commandment about not killing humans, they're divine and stuff. But with animals, um, we are given dominion over them in the Bible, and I forget when it is. It was after Noah's Ark. God gave us like all the everything that walks on the earth except humans, obviously, to eat.
All right, but what is he? How would God kill an animal? Does it talk about how does God kill an animal?
It doesn't say anything about God killing an animal, but it does say God was not vegan. He ate fish, he ate meat.
All right, but it doesn't talk about how to kill an animal, or is it necessary to kill the animal?
It's not necessary, but it's ne- actually it kind of can be. I don't know if there's enough like vegan meat to support everyone in this world to go vegan. Like if there's enough vegan meat factories, like plants and stuff.
All right, so let's me. That's an interesting point you bring up. So number one, I don't think we talk about vegan meat. Let's just talk about plants because humans, you can say that I can eat enough plants to be strong and healthy. I can have enough protein. I've been doing it for 9 years. You would trust that that's actually doable, right? That you can our family can sustain off of going to the store, buying plants and eating that, right?
Yeah.
All right, so there's actually 90 billion animals that we grow and feed and kill and slaughter each year throughout the world, right? Cows, pigs, chickens, turkeys, all the animals you can think of that are grown and bred and sent to these farms, fattened up, and then sent to slaughterhouses, killed, chopped up, and sent out for companies to make food out of them, right?
Yep.
So, out of all those animals, what do you think that we feed all of those animals?
Well, pigs are fed just old food, and then cows just graze on grass.
Well, we feed them plants, right? We feed them crops, or these crops are grown so that these animals can eat. You talk about grass-fed cows. We feed them crops, corn, soy, right? We feed them these crops that are grown. So we feed them.
I know a guy with cows. He says you just put them in a. He doesn't slaughter them though. They're his like pets. They're longhorns. He just puts some like you put them in a like a enclosed fence, just a field of grass, and
Yeah,
that's all they need.
yeah. I mean that's fair, but that they're not that he's not supplying the world with food, right?
Yeah, no.
So, but what I'm saying is that we have to feed these animals crops. So we feed them plants. So if we could feed 90 billion land animals each year with crops or with plants, what if we turn those crops or plants into crops that are fed to humans instead? I mean, that you would have enough space, you'd have enough crops to be able to feed the humans. Just based on if we could feed 90 billion land animals, why couldn't we feed 9 billion people?
Well, most of the food the crops that are fed to farm animals is hay, grass, and like plant crops that humans don't normally eat.
Right, but you could let's just say if that were true, we could change those crops that we fed them into crops that we actually could grow for humans.
Yeah.
So I think it's doable. Obviously, we're not going to know. It's not, instantly going to happen. But I find that argument very difficult to say that we, that we don't have enough plants that could feed the humans. I think that if we actually breed 90 billion land animals into existence each and every year, we can certainly come up with ways, if we didn't have to feed those animals, that we could come up with ways that the humans, that we could feed our own population. Is that realistic? Is that going to happen in other countries? Obviously not anytime soon, but it's certainly not a reason to not, or it's not a reason to just continue to eat animals just based on, oh, we can't feed everybody, so what's the point? Right? I don't find that to be a good justification for killing animals either.
Yeah, but like, what about like deer and rabbits and well, I guess not squirrels, but with all those crops, would you support shooting them to keep the crops alive?
No, I think that's definitely bad. A lot of I think the crop deaths that happen. I mean, obviously, death is very difficult. I mean, these animals are grown. I mean, they get chopped up in lawnmowers, and the people that use poison. I mean, I'm sure crops, or I'm sorry, animals, they die because of farmers trying to protect their land. It's certainly not good. I don't like it. I don't want it. I certainly don't you know support that. However, it's difficult for me. It's not a rights violation in the fact that we are taking these animals' rights away, right? Where you're actually killing, you're going out and killing these animals on purpose with a gun. The whole intent is to kill these animals. I don't think the intention ever should be to kill animals, because I just can't justify that. I'm not sure the reason that you shot and killed the squirrels. I mean, there's if you're defending yourself, if they're attacking you, if they're if they're intruding onto your house, if they're damaging your property, I think that you can argue that you may have a right to defend yourself. But this is, hey, Dog's Journey, appreciate it. He just chopped on here and said that he enjoys this conversation. Let's check it out. Did I add it?
Yep.
Oh, there it is. Dog's Journey, appreciate it, man. So, for me, I think that I forget where I was, but that's not. I don't think that's a good justification to do that.
I found this out. 200 million animals die from, I think that's what it was, 200 million animals die from hunting every year, and 7.3 billion die from farms every year.
I mean, that's interesting. I'm not sure if that's true or not. It's certainly a lot from farming. Again, I don't think that you can say that you can call it vegans or people that only eat plants for those,
Yeah.
right? I mean, I think that you eat, obviously you eat meat, you also eat vegetables and other crops, right?
Yeah.
So, and then again, back to those animals have to be fed. So to me, I think going vegan is more it's a philosophy of I don't want to exploit or take animals' rights away. I don't want to shoot and kill animals because I don't have to, and I wouldn't want it done to me. Even though if you say the Bible says that it's okay, or that it's there, not that there's anything wrong with it. I certainly, I think the Bible to me teaches compassion, kindness, and treat others how you want to be treated. I think all animals should be classified as others.
Yeah, I see what you're going at there, but when that was made by Jesus, he was intending that for humans to humans, but
I mean, that's fair, but again, back to, Jesus or God. I mean, how do you think that he would, or why would he want to raise animals and put them in slaughterhouses and have them, bred and have knives slit and, put in their throat and killed and chopped up? I mean, why do you really think that he intended to have this happen?
I don't think he intended it for like the farms, the commercial farms today, like the big commercial farms.
All right, so what's the difference to you? I mean, in your mind, the big commercial farms versus the little commercial farms.
The way the big commercial farms have to do it is less humane because they have more animals at a time. They have to do it less humanely with
All right,
gas chambers and stuff.
yeah. So okay, so you're familiar with gas chambers. I'm impressed. How do you know? Do you know like why we put them through the gas chambers? Why we put animals and what type of animals we put in gas chambers?
I only know it's to just kill them. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, you suffocate them, but you can do it in a lot at a time.
Yeah,
They're pigs. I mean, if you ever watch video of them doing it,
I have not.
it's terrible. You can hear them scream and everything, and it's like it's awful. And I mean, you certainly, I know you don't support and can, or you don't support that,
Yeah,
right? But every time that you go out and see the store, do you have bacon?
I do.
All right, and you don't go out and hunt, or you don't know where your pigs come from.
I don't have wild pigs where I live.
All right, so what would you say if you knew that bacon that you had on Saturday mornings with your eggs came from a pig that was sent in a gas chamber?
I mean, I'd rather eat a pig from a smaller commercial farm, but I'd still eat it if I already bought it.
Well, if you already bought it, but if you knew that it was, that it came from there, would you pay money and support those conditions and those things from happening?
I don't like those conditions, but that's why I like to support the smaller farms. It's more
Okay.
humane.
Yeah, okay, but I think people that say that, right? You want to, the thought is good, but you know that you're supporting that every time that you go out and buy. The supply and demand is you're supplying them, or you're demanding them to continue to do that.
Yeah,
So why not? I mean, I'm going to say, why not support it at all? I mean, that's kind of where we got to, and it was like, well, I certainly wouldn't want that done to me, and it's too hard to figure out which animals are well treated or not, and where this comes from. You got to do a lot of research when you could just say, I'm not going to support it at all.
yeah. I. That's kind of why hunting is one of the better ways to get meat.
Okay, but I think even going back to hunting, or even the small farms, right, we're still talking about the individual animal, right? That individual animal's life is being taken because, and I've yet to hear a good justification, right? We said it's not for food, or it doesn't have to be for food. You talked about a skull mount, being, chopping the head off and putting it up on a wall. That's not necessary. Sure, it brings good memories, but so does.
That's not the reason I hunt.
Well, no, but you said it's one of, it's one of the, call it the outcomes of it, right? It's a good memory.
When we kill deer, we put the whole thing to use. Like I fly fish, so I make my own fishing flies. So when I kill a deer, I take the hair for fishing flies. Same with rabbits. I use the fur, the meat. I even use the skull. I don't like to waste any of it. My deer actually was eaten by coyotes. Coyotes got to the carcass first. I still took the meat that was left over. So
Interesting. All right, so I mean, because you didn't put it to waste, right? That's after the fact. I would support if you know, if I came across a dead animal and if I could use it to, do my things and not have it go to waste. I'm all for that. But I still don't think that that should be or is the reason that justifies killing or taking that animal's life.
yeah,
What do you think the difference is between a dog and a deer?
well, a lot of things. Dogs are domesticated.
Okay, let's say you had a deer that was domesticated. Let's say you had a deer, you took a deer on and you kept it in a farm from a little baby and it grew up and it was domesticated. It knew kind of basic commands and it ate, it slept with you. What would you say that is okay to kill that deer and eat it?
Well, there are deer farms
Okay.
that it's basically just like a cow farm. It's just with deer.
Okay, why do they have deer farms?
Uh, Antlers, meat, and then the fur.
So you're telling me that they breed deer just so they can kill it for the meat, for the antlers, and for the skin?
Here's here's kind of how a deer farm works. It's a lot of acres of land, fenced in. You got forests. They're not actually like tame. Like like another profit that they get is people pay to hunt there, which I don't support that. But
Okay. Why don't you support that?
it's called high fence hunting. It's basically just cheating.
Cheating. Don't you
The
think it's
animals don't really get a fair chance.
well, I'd argue that if you had a gun and the deers don't have a gun or they have no way to fight back, do you think that's a fair fight?
I hunt with a bow, so I have to get the deer within 30 yards. Deer have really good smell, really good sight, really good hearing. It's really hard to get a deer within 30 yards without
Yeah,
spooking it.
you got to be quiet. You probably got to wear camouflage.
Yep.
I've my buddy's brother grew up. I went into his room when we were younger, and I found a jar of deer urine. He put deer
Yeah.
urine on himself to cover the scents or to get them closer.
I use dirt scent.
Okay, so you use something similar, right? You're probably up in a tree stand.
Yep.
You're probably out. You go out at night or real, when the sun's coming up, and you get up there and you stay real quiet, and then let the deer come walking by.
It's about what happens.
Do you also bait them? So you set out food and things so that the deer.
Baiting is illegal in my state.
Oh, what state is that?
That would be pretty much all the northern states.
All right, you're in the northern states. Okay. All right. Yeah. I mean, so it's illegal. But again, you have a bow. That's a weapon. They don't have any weapons. Do you think that's a fair fight?
Well, their weapons are their senses. It's like their defenses.
Well, a defense, you're playing. I mean, you're always on offense. You're not playing defense. They're not trying to attack you, so they never get to
Yeah,
score. So you'll always have a chance. I mean, the worst that you could do is tie,
yeah,
right? Like you go out there and you don't shoot a deer. I mean, that's a tie. There, it's 0-0. But the next day you can go out there and that deer may walk in the wrong spot and then have an arrow right through its heart. Would you do you if when you hit it with the when you killed your first deer, did it immediately drop or do you think that deer was suffering?
he went. I don't remember the exact amount of yardage, but he did run.
So after being shot with an arrow, where did you shoot it? Did you shoot it in its heart or any organs?
Lungs.
Lungs. Ooh. Is that where you're supposed to shoot it? Is that the best place
Yeah,
to shoot a deer?
yeah.
Why?
So when you hit a deer with an arrow, you've got broadhead, which is just an arrow tip with sharp cutting diameter and stuff. You
Mm-hmm.
shoot it, lungs and heart is where you're aiming. So when you hit a deer with an arrow, when it's inside of the deer, the deer dies of blood loss, basically.
Oh, oh, that sounds like it hurts. How long did it take for the deer to die after it was shot?
Maybe like 15 seconds.
15 seconds.
I made a pretty bad shot, though.
Ah, well, it was your first time, right?
Yeah.
All right. Well, man, I mean, they talk about the deer. I mean, those must have been a terrible 15 seconds for that deer.
Yeah, but it's 15 seconds and then it's over.
That's pretty. Do you think that's if that deer was looking down at us right now, hearing our conversation? Do you think that he'd be happy or she'd be happy with hearing that? Like, why did it die? Why did you shoot me? And hearing everything that we're saying.
I think it would accept it. It's already over. There's nothing it can do about it.
Yeah, I mean that's certainly one way to look at it. It's certainly over for that deer. Um, but that's pretty harsh, right? I mean, what if somebody said that about if you were kind of in their position and heard them say it's sorry, but it's over with. I mean,
Yeah, well, normally on a good shot, you deer's down within like 5 seconds.
oof.
I only I I only got one of the lungs on that shot. He was quartering in a little bit, so my
Okay.
arrow went in diagonally. So
Mm. Well, I mean, would you say that um, if you didn't have to shoot the deer at all, right? You're not doing it for food. I mean, you say the population control. What's the specific reason or justification that you would use that that would make it okay?
well, there's a few things. One, it like the deer they they're hunted and stuff. You know, like especially with like farmland, like where I got my deer, like the deer will overpopulate because there's just like basically they'll overpopulate if there's not enough predators. They'll eat all the food, they'll get sick, and they'll all die of starvation. That's one of the reasons.
All right, so would if you're in that position, you would much rather be, hunted or being, shot at or trying to protect your life each and every day just based on because there's too many deer and you would rather to be hunted and killed without or before not having a chance to survive.
Well, I would rather get shot than die of starvation.
You wouldn't want to have a chance like to go out there and try.
Well, the problem with it is it gets so the food gets so like there's not enough to support the whole deer herd, and then it's just competition for all the food, and then a lot of the deer will die of starvation.
Well, okay, so it's survival of the fittest, but I mean, even that is a fair playing field because you got a bunch of deer, and I'm an athlete. All my boys are athletes. Like it's saying, all right, well, if I got to wake up early, right, the early bird gets the worm. I got to get up early. I'm gonna go out and get my food, make sure my family's taken care of. But I wouldn't want to be walking around and then having these other species shoot at me and kill me. Like that to me, like what did I do to them? I mean, I'm living, I didn't ask to be in this world, right? I can't go to the store and, buy food. So, like, I don't think that's fair to me. And I'm speaking for the deer. I certainly don't think that's fair.
With deer, when you hunt them, it's kind of like the deer with bad senses die and they can't reproduce. So basically, they evolve as they go, and as they go, they'll get stronger and they'll be smarter. It's like that with all animals.
Well, I would say not all. You're saying all wild animals?
Humans too, yeah.
Well, yeah, I mean, but I don't want, I don't think we go out, I mean, and start killing each other. I mean, we don't have to, right? We know that that's not a good thing to do is to go out and shoot or kill other people, right?
Yeah.
So, what, why is it okay for us to go out and kill other species that they have a brain, they have eyes, they have a nose, they can think, they have feelings, they have emotions. Why why do we think that we can do whatever we want to these animals?
Well, do you have like pets?
We do, yeah.
What do you have? Like a dog or a cat?
We got two rescue dogs. We used to have three, but she passed away not too long ago. German Shepherd,
Mm.
Pebbles.
So with dogs,
Yep.
it's kind of like farm animals. You own the animal, right?
You could say that they're property, right? But I mean, we consider those animals part of our family.
Okay, I
Right.
see.
I certainly
Yeah,
wouldn't want to use the animal, or we're not feeding the animal only so we can kill and eat it. I
yeah.
mean,
With dogs, they're omnivores. The meat is not good. I've never had it, but
you never had dog.
no, I
Would you?
probably never will.
Why? What do you? Why? What makes it different?
Well, people will don't like it
Well,
and like they're domesticated. They're bred so that they're bred with like desired traits. Cows and pigs are bred with desired traits like with their meat. Dogs are like traits with their like personality and stuff.
all right. What would you say though? Just using that logic, what if we bred humans only so they're not smart and they're just we just feed them with nothing but I'm gonna say call it plants, grass fed humans, and they didn't feel anything. I think I lost them. See if he comes back. There he is. You there?
Yeah, you freezed again, so I
All
just
right.
reconnected.
Yeah, no, I appreciate that, man. Thanks for coming back on. So what I was saying is human. What if we bred humans, and their sole purpose was to be food, to be killed and chopped up for humans for food, and they have all good nutrients. Meat tastes great. Would that be okay?
Well, I guess. I mean, like, I probably wouldn't prefer it.
Well, what if? Why wouldn't you prefer it?
Well, normally meat eating animals' meat is not the best. The herbivore meat is
Is the best?
most. Yeah.
Yeah. So what if these humans ate nothing but the best plants, organic, all plants, and again the tastiest meat that you could think of, the best juiciest burger, and it was I mean, but these humans were bred. They didn't. They weren't smart. They're
Are you
sold.
talking about eating meat, or are you still on the dogs?
No, well, you could say dogs or humans, right? But what I'm saying is that these farms are specifically bred. These dogs are bred for meat, but they're the best tasting meat. Or you got human farms that are specifically bred for human consumption.
Well, if it's a farm, it has like with demand.
Yeah. I mean, but
Then
the new, you got to start somewhere. And so they say we started up this dog farm and it was just dogs specifically bred for human meat.
if it, I probably would not
Why?
eat it. Well,
Would you try it?
maybe. I mean, I've had a lot of meat,
But
different types.
what makes dogs not, really the thought about eating them? What makes it, bad?
Well, like I said, they're domesticated. Like I'd eat a coyote if the meat would taste good.
Well, you said domesticated, but these are farm dogs, just like you have farm cows, farm pigs, farm chickens, right? These are farm dogs. In
So,
fact,
like, would it come from the domesticated dogs, or?
no, these dogs would be bred and that just treated exactly like the cows are treated.
I mean, maybe.
Well,
I
why
would
is
try
that a
my best.
why was that a maybe and the cows aren't, right? Obviously, you have burgers, beef burgers,
Yeah,
so these would just be dog burgers.
I'd eat it. Yeah.
Okay, so there's really nothing different than a dog and a cow in your mind. Is that right? Oh man, lost you again.
That was my fault. I was trying to swipe away a notification and I hit the end button.
Oh, okay, no worries. So yeah, so would that be okay? I mean, that would be okay. So there's really no difference in your mind between dogs and cows.
Well, wild dogs and cows, I mean, they're both wild, but there is differences, yeah.
Well, no difference in between because you would eat them both, right?
Yeah.
You would be okay killing the dogs?
Well, I wouldn't be killing it.
Well, why are you okay with killing deer and not dogs?
Well, I I would kill a coyote, like wild
All right,
fox.
what about wild dogs?
I've never seen hunting licenses for those.
Well, let's just say you don't need a license to hunt them.
I mean, I would probably if they were a problem, yeah.
Oh, but all right, so they have to be a problem.
I mean, there's no wild dogs in my area.
Well,
I've
yeah,
never thought about that.
well, yeah. I'm just saying the logic though. So you're saying, if elephants were out there and they're a problem in your neighborhood, you would have no problem going out killing elephants.
Well, I mean, I would not.
Why do you think that you wouldn't kill an elephant?
I was saying I wouldn't have a problem with it.
Oh, so you would kill an elephant.
If it was a problem, yeah. I
All
mean,
right,
they're
so
endangered, but
all right, so without them being endangered, if I named any animal and said that that animal was a problem, that would justify it for you to kill and eat it?
in some cases, depends on the animal and like what it's doing.
Well, obviously you said so the reason why you go out and kill deer is cuz they're a problem.
Well, they can be.
Well, are they or aren't they?
Well, the problem with deer is, like I said with the Gettysburg thing. I see where you're going with this.
You do what?
Like, with them not being a problem, yeah.
I mean, and that one that you killed, would you say that helped the problem? You contributed to solving the problem?
I would say yeah.
Okay, so as long as that the animal's a problem, that makes it okay in your mind. That justifies killing and then obviously not wasting any of the animal, but you think that you're solving a problem, you're contributing to helping, call it the environment or your area.
So, what justifies it for me is like I'm doing it ethically and I'm not putting any to waste and I'm helping the environment.
All right, let's go back to ethically. So what do you mean by ethically? Exactly.
Well, animal has fair chance and dies quickly.
Well, you say fair chance. I mean, back to, you have a bow and arrow, and that animal you say has senses. Well, you have senses too, but you also have a weapon, and they don't have a weapon. So would you say that that's fair?
Well, for a predator and a prey, yeah.
All right, so you think that you're a predator and they're prey?
That's how it is, yeah.
All right, what do you think makes you a predator?
Well, I'm hunting the deer.
Well, were you born a predator or were you taught to be a predator?
Humans have been predators since they existed.
Well, I'm saying you specifically, right? When you were born, did you come out and as a baby, were you automatically a predator?
Well, I was too young to really do anything.
Okay.
I mean, I ate meat.
Right, but you didn't go out and kill the animals and eat them,
No.
right? So say like little baby eagles. I'd say that those are predators. And the moms or and the dads, they go out, kill the animals, bring the food back and then feed the babies, right? But
Yeah.
but when the birds get big enough, they go out and they hunt themselves and they kill the animals and then eat them themselves.
Yeah.
But I think those predators, I mean, call them carnivores, they do it because they have to, right? If they didn't, they wouldn't survive. Do you think? Do you think that you're a predator like an eagle or a tiger?
Well, I've like almost adapted to be one. If you know what I'm saying, like I've learned over time, like a baby eagle would.
Well, okay, but they don't have a choice, right?
Yeah.
You have a choice. I mean, if they can't go to the store, they can't they can't do any of that, right? They are out in the wild and they are hunting for survival.
Yeah.
You you're hunting, and one of your reasons, right, you said is because their problem. The eagles don't care if their worms or their mice are problems. They go out and kill them because they have to. Would you say
Yeah.
that you're hunting because you have to?
Um, I don't have to, but when I do, let's say I bring home a deer, that's meat for like a year or more. That's food.
Right. No, I agree, but it's not necessary. You're not doing it because you have to.
Yeah.
Right. So I think that, predators to me, right, these are your carnivores. These they're doing it and they justify it because they have to. You're actually doing it because, I mean, one of the things you said, it's for food, but you don't have to. But you also do it because it's fun. It's a rush, right? You said you get a rush out of it.
Yeah.
It's a thrill.
It's hard to explain.
No, I know, and I never did it, and I can sort of imagine, but I think the adrenaline that you're getting, you're excited, right? You've never did it before. Your grandfather talked about it. Your uncles pumped you up. In my mind, it was ingrained into your mind that like this is what we do. This is we're hunters, and you keep on the tradition, right? You look forward to it. It's you look forward to the
Yeah.
opening day. You get your weapons ready. You get your outfit. It's cold. Um, you. I mean, they go out and camp. It's like a whole week thing, right? Or
Yeah.
it's family time. It's bonding, right? You create memories. These are
Yeah.
things that I think keep the tradition going. But it's certainly, to me, in my mind, it does not. It is not a good enough justification to go out and kill animals. To kill an individual animal that was not trying to harm you, was only enjoying or trying to experience its own life. Just
Yeah.
just like you and me, or just like my dog. They're just trying to live. They have They don't have any weapons, and we can turn and shoot and kill my dog, but I wouldn't want to because I wouldn't want that done to me. And obviously our dog is part of our family, and I don't want to cause anyone else harm or suffer.
Yeah.
I'd argue that deer suffered for those 15 seconds, bleeding out through my lungs and choking to death on the blood. That does not sound like a very ethical way to kill, to die. That sounds pretty awful.
I would say this: if I was a deer, I would rather be shot than how they die normally in nature.
Well, I mean that's good, but does that justify, because you think that and that's what you would want, does that justify, does every deer think like that, or do you think?
Well, deer don't really think like that.
All right, so back to the intelligence thing, right? I think logically, if humans didn't think like that, or if you bred humans that didn't think like that, and that were, and we put them on a out in the wild, would that justify? Would that be okay, killing and shooting and eating those humans?
Yeah, I see what you're saying and stuff, but
Right? How about this? What if, like, would you rather? Let's just say, would you rather kill, a tomato, or would you rather kill an animal? Like, what would you have an easier time killing?
well, what do you mean by like killing a plant? Like just like eating it?
Yeah, I mean, like, people talk about killing plants, and they have feelings too, right? Like, do you think that you would feel guilty about shooting a pumpkin plant, or would you
I
or would you feel guilty about killing a deer? Which one would you feel more guilty about?
I've done both of those.
All right, which one? Well, you told me already. You felt a little guilty by killing the deer.
Only because it was young. If it was a bit older, I wouldn't have.
You wouldn't feel at all guilty?
Probably not, yeah. I haven't killed an old one.
All right, but would you say that deer that you killed, let's just say it was, I don't know, a year older. It was a 2-year-old deer instead of a 1-year-old deer. Would you feel guilty about killing a 2-year-old deer?
No.
All right, what about a deer a day away from 2 years old? Would you feel guilty about killing a deer that old?
Well, that's probably not.
It was just one day away from its 2 year.
Age.
It's what?
During hunting season, all the deer are like they'll either be 1.5, 2.5, 3.5, 4.5, like and so on. You
All
know
right.
what I mean?
Well, yeah. I still think that that deer, whatever deer that you killed, is probably healthy enough to live, I don't know, another at least 30 days. Would you agree?
Yeah.
So you don't feel guilty about taking away those deer's good, happy 30 days?
No.
Why not?
Well, because out of the life it's lived, a deer's main goal is just to reproduce. I
Well,
don't
the deers
I don't know.
don't really have goals, I don't think. The deer doesn't, I'm going to say a deer is instinctual, but that deer is expressing, is experiencing their own life. And we saw deer, happy and, walking around with their family. There's deer in our area all the time, and they're walking around in their little family, and they're eating together. And then when we drive by, they all look up, and then they watch, right? And then we go by, and then they continue to eat. But and then they run around and they chase each other. I'd argue that they're playing and they're happy, right? They're not being bothered and they're enjoying the weather, right? They're experiencing their life. So you're saying that you don't feel guilty, or you don't think it's wrong for taking away those deer's next 30 days of life.
So with deer, how you said they're in the family. Deer have the fawns will stay with the mother for maybe like a few months. The father doesn't even stay with them. And after a few months, they don't even know each other anymore. They'll maybe be in the same herd, but it's not like family like we have. They don't have bonds.
I don't know that. I'm not sure we could really know that. And I'd argue that cows have bonds and pigs have bonds. I don't see the difference. I mean, humans have bonds, and I I I want to say I'm gonna give them the benefit of the doubt. I really, it's hard for me to say that they don't care about each other, or they don't, they're not wanting to protect each other. I don't know, but I also think that does that justify killing them?
Well, it helps, but it doesn't fully.
Yeah. I mean, I think if we make it up in our mind that they don't care, even if they sat and told us, hey, we want to kill, we want to be killed. I lost him again. Or we want to be killed. I still don't think that would justify killing an animal. I'd have a hard time doing that. I really would. That's not good. All right, guys. Hey, I'm talking to Cast and Shoot Outdoors. He's a hunter. Here he's calling again. I'm gonna get him on. There he is.
There we go.
Sorry, man. I'm breaking up. Man, we've been talking a good while now, man. It's been a great conversation again.
Yeah.
I
Yeah,
appreciate
my
it,
phone's
man.
about to die too, so.
All right, yeah, my son's about to come out from practice. Hey, man, I want to do this again. I'd love to have more conversations with you and,
Yeah.
ask questions. You ask me questions. I think we're bringing in some people some value. I'm glad I'm making you think a little bit. You're definitely, your stuff. Obviously you've been researching this. And again, I really appreciate your time.
Yeah, me too.
So, what? Let's finish it up, or let's close it up. And what would where do you kind of want to end it? What would you? How do you want to finish this conversation? At least our first one.
Well, what do you mean? Like,
I mean, I just kind of summarize. What I mean, and the question is again, I want people to talk about justify eating animals. After what I said, you kind of stuck on the deer, and you kind of kept going back to the hunting thing. I look at all the deer and all the animals the same. I mean, I think that they should have inherent rights to themselves, and we shouldn't be able to go out and kill any animals. But I want you to kind of summarize, or why do you, or even after this conversation, what's going to justify in your mind to go out and continue to kill and eat animals?
well, a lot of it is like resources, like environmental control, um, crops, helping the crops, where I kill my deer. It's a farmland, so there's a lot of farmers around there who don't like the deer and stuff. So mainly stuff like that.
All right, so but just to confirm, you're not doing it because it's necessary.
It's not necessary, but like I'd rather kill it and have deer kill one animal and have meat for a year, and then I'd rather have that deer killed ethically by me than go out and buy like beef and stuff from those farms and stuff.
Okay. And then you just took it there. You talked about ethically. I don't think we ever finished our ethically and what that means to kill an animal. I heard you mention it being fair. What makes an ethical? How do you ethically kill any animal in your mind?
Just a clean, quick, and like fair.
So clean. What does clean kill mean? What does that mean?
Like good shot.
All right. Well, you said that you didn't kill that deer very cleanly, right? You said it was a bad shot.
I would say like on a scale of 1 to 10, 10 being like the best shot, I had like 7.
A 7. What is a 10 shot? Is that instant? Does that mean instant kill?
Within 5 seconds, maybe
So
3.
so 3 seconds. Do you think that animal experiences pain and suffering in those 3 seconds?
It does, but with a good clean shot, it won't
Well, you said a
affect it.
good clean shot is within 5 seconds, but I mean, let's say 3 seconds. Do you think that animal suffers, and is that ethically okay if that animal suffers only 3 seconds?
I'd rather that than gas chamber.
Oh man, I absolutely agree with you for sure. But if you could choose gas chamber, or if you can choose, 3 second kill, or your option is no killing at all, which one of those three is the best ethically possible solution?
The way I see it, probably just killing at 3 seconds because you also get population control. I mean,
Well, just from an ethics standpoint, right? Like for looking at the animal's position, right? Or we said gas chamber, a 3 second kill, or no killing at all. Which one is
well,
the best ethic option?
from that standpoint, I guess no killing. But with deer in like suburbs and stuff, you have to hunt them. There's no predators. They will overpopulate and stuff.
Well, I think you got me there because I don't think it's necessary. I think there's other options. And in your area, was it out of control? Is that the reason why you went out and hunted?
The place I bow hunt, I see 40 deer. I saw 40 deer in an hour. That's not good. So basically, there's this thing called buck to doe ratio.
Mm-hmm.
I saw maybe 4 bucks and the rest were doe. That's just not good.
Well, you say it's not good from an environmental standpoint, but from those
Yeah,
animals' perspective, they know no different.
yeah.
So, I think the best option ethically speaking would be no killing at all. Muted yourself, or you might be gone here.
Yeah,
Might,
I'm still
all
here.
right. Uh, you know, I think it's easy to say that the best option ethically speaking is no killing at all, right? If you
Yeah.
don't have to. I think what you're arguing is that you're doing it for population control. And I think morally speaking, there's a better option than killing an animal that isn't trying to harm you. I think there's a better option and a better solution than just killing that animal. I don't think that, to me, would not justify killing that animal. I think that's hard to convince me on, saying it's population control.
Yeah.
But I understand where where you're coming from. I think that you obviously think that you're doing a good thing. And I'd say that it's better for sure that you say use the entire animal. It doesn't go to waste. But I still think, looking at it from the deer's perspective, the deer doesn't want to die, and I don't think, if having this conversation with the deer, the deer looking down and say, yeah, it was population control is why I killed you, but I got your head on my wall. I use your skin to make lures and fly fishing gear. And, I use your skin to make a cool, blanket. And I got your foot around my neck, in a necklace. I don't think that deer would appreciate or want that to be the reason why that deer died.
Yeah.
So I try to see it from their perspective, because they don't have a say.
Yeah.
Man. They're not saying anything.
Yeah.
That's tough.
Yeah.
But
all right, my phone's about to die.
All right, man. Hey, man. Really appreciate the conversation, and let's do it again soon. All right.
Yeah. Thank you.
All right. We'll be in touch, man. Appreciate it, man. Have a great night.
Right. Cool. You too.
All right.
Thank
All
you.
right. Bye. Yeah. Bye. Yo! Wow! That dude. Great conversation, man. I did not think it was gonna go that well. My man August, appreciate it. Dude is smart. Here comes my son. And yeah, man, we're gonna do that again. I really think made some good points. Definitely got him thinking. And appreciate you guys watching. We're gonna do it again. All right, guys. Until next time, let's quit eating animals. See ya.
Yo.
What up?
Yeah, what are you doing?
We're live. We were live. What up?
Nice.
I was talking to this dude.
You were?
Yeah, man, it was awesome.
You beat him?
Oh man, he was a good dude. Good dude.
Wait, what
August.
Were
we were talking about hunting and stuff. All right, guys, gotta roll. Gotta drive home. All right, see ya.